Welcome to the Wellnest Mamas podcast. We are committed to leading a sustainable lifestyle and making community connections. In a world where stress and chaos seem to be the norm, finding balance and fostering a sense of true well-being is essential.
Whether you are just beginning your holistic wellness journey or are already deeply dedicated to the practice, this podcast is for you. Join the Wellnest Mamas as we uncover the secrets to holistic wellness and discover the power of building a healthy community that supports and uplifts one another.
Sit back, relax, and get ready to embark on a transformative journey to leading a sustainably healthy lifestyle. We're glad you're here.
You go.
Hi guys, we're back here with the Wellnest Mamas, and we have Brianna Carey with us today.
Hi.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Steph.
And let's get into it. So, Brianna, I am so excited to finally be able to broadcast all that you're doing to our YouTube channel and our podcast. We had previously recorded a very interesting podcast, but you can only find that episode if you're in our Facebook group, the Wellnest Mamas community. So if you need an ad, let us know. We'll get you in there. You can see the sneak peek before this episode, but I'm excited. So tell me, what have you been keeping busy?
Oh my goodness. Well, so many things. Life-wise, we are homeschooling now, and we just got some chickens. So, just keeping things busy, which is always fun. When in relationship, my husband's always having new projects that I'm bringing to him and having to communicate. But, business-wise, so we have, Mark has his men's retreats, and we actually just launched announced our first couples retreat. So we're in the process of getting that done and prepped for, so that's really exciting.
That is so exciting. Yeah. So for those of us that don't know, tell us about your business with your husband.
Yes.
What do you do?
So I'm a relationship and intimacy coach, and my husband Mark and I work together supporting couples. And we really like supporting parents as they navigate the newness of their relationship and raising children, because it's an area that is not talked about, and it is most needed and least supported. So much happens, and we see with couples, they have their baby, and after a couple of years they think things are going to go back to normal, and the baby's sleeping through the night, we have time together, but now we're so disconnected, and we start to see they really go into a roommate phase. And if there's not intention to come back to connection, then eventually they either separate, divorce, or they stay together for the kids, but make their life and their relationship around them, and then eventually just separate after the kids graduate and leave. And we don't want that. You chose this person for a reason. You chose to have a family with them for a reason, and we want you to stay together. So, yeah,
It's such an incredible purpose. I get it, because I have children, and sometimes it's the world revolves around the kids, and it's hard to remember, wait a minute.
That's survival mode.
I'm stuck with you forever. They're only here for a short period of time, That's really cool. So how do you help them? Is it a counseling or?
Yeah, so Mark is a licensed professional counselor. He's been doing that for 15 years. He's transitioned out of his private practice and does more coaching. And so what we really like to focus on, it's just a different model. But what we offer that's so unique is we offer a 2-on-2. So a lot of times if you go to marriage counseling or anything like that, it's a 1-to-2. And so someone usually feels left out or ganged up on.
Do they take sides?
Exactly. Well, you say you're unbiased, but you're
Right.
And you chose this person, I'm choosing the next one, right? And so it's also really nice because each partner is represented when we're doing the coaching. And so it's just very equally balanced and feels really good. And so, we do 2-on-2 coaching. We have the retreats, and we have a course as well. So a program, it's the group mentality, which is really nice. So you have support from other parents and couples that are going through similar areas that you are. So we just try to support in any way.
So does the course, is it a work at your own pace, or you said there's a group, is there some sort of How does that work?
Yeah, so the course is 6 modules, and it is go at your own pace. We have it like spread out for 12 weeks to kind of give you time. Again, parents like busy, like we don't want you to feel bogged down and have another thing. And then we do 2 group calls a month too, and so that they can jump on there, hear from other people. We usually bring something. We have guests that come in and share on certain topics too.
That's awesome.
And then, if you like to stay in that community and be a part of the group calls, then you can continue that as well after. So
Cool.
Yeah.
So how would the retreat, like a couples retreat, be different than like coming to like one-on-one?
Yeah.
Is it just like
Is it an intensive, or is it just like what can you expect between both of those options? I guess.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I love this so much because. Oh my gosh, I just love this so much. With a retreat, people are like, okay, are we going to just like sit around a campfire and kumbaya? Or, like what am I getting? Am I just coming and being pampered and having a vacation, like a getaway? And so it's a mixture of all of the above, right?
Okay.
You get intentional time with your partner to be present, to be focused on each other. You get to meet other couples again that are going through similar stuff, or, maybe in a different season of life and they've experienced something similar to you, and they can give you feedback. But what we do is we give them the space to have the challenging conversations that might be getting pushed to the wayside when you're in your everyday life, because you don't want to rock the boat and you don't have the support on like we keep having the same argument, we don't know how to get past this. Having somebody with a different perspective and that can help with those communication tools. So learning how to communicate, how to connect deeper, learn how to spice things up and have fun and bring different elements. And and what is great is you're implementing in the moment and bringing all of that back to real life, and it's actionable and implementable. So it's not just a vacation getaway, but you will feel refreshed and reconnected. It's kind of like dating your partner all over again, and it just reinvigorates those butterflies and that excitement, that spark. So that's what we're really going for. It's 4 days, 3 nights.
That's a good time.
It's a good, it's a good chunk. To just like really get in there, have fun. We'll have somebody doing a sound bath. We have some other fun elements in there. So that's the retreat. And then as far as like the coaching aspect, it kind of just depends. We really kind of customize it to the couple and what they're going through. And one phrase that we say a lot is like the intensity of the solution has to match the intensity of the problems or challenges that you're having. And that's where a lot of, really marriage counseling and things don't really help, because it's once a week for 1 hour, 2 people to 1 person. You're not meeting that. And so we dig in and we're like, okay, we do separate calls with each person twice a month, and then we do 2 group calls with the 4 of us, I guess. And we just really dig in. Like we had a great call today, and again, you can have this conversation, you have this conflict with each other over and over and over again. And you're like, why aren't we getting past this? We got to like interject where that mishap is happening, that miscommunication. And they're like, oh, because we're like, hey, rephrase this back to her, what she just said. What did you hear her say? And he's like, and then he starts going into his story. He was like filtering it, and we're like, nope, pause, literally repeat what, and so having somebody that is supporting you in those moments. And what we do is we really hold the vision for what they want for their relationship. We get to be that like, almost like a dream holder for them. Like, here you go. This is what you want. This is what we're working towards. And we're going to just continue holding, like, we know that's possible. And we give them that confidence until they can like really embody that confidence in themselves.
That's amazing.
Which is really special.
Wow.
Very unique.
That's why we were so glad to share what you're doing, because I feel like it's pretty revolutionary. I've never heard of a 2-on-2 couples counseling, and I personally feel like that would be very, very helpful. I have a teammate and you have a teammate. I don't know.
In those vulnerable moments, if, if you have someone in your corner or like multiple people in your corner, it feels a lot better.
Safer.
Yeah. It's really,
Yeah, we really create a safe container for them to be able to express, because sometimes they've been suppressing this stuff for years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Safe and neutral.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, where do people usually hear about you? I know you have your podcast, and we will definitely talk about that, because I definitely want people to listen to your podcast because it's amazing. I love what you're doing. But do you find that people are connecting with you in real life or on like the internet, social media, or how are you?
Yeah, so
out there?
both. Yeah, Instagram primarily, is, and then a lot of referrals, like people that have that know us, have worked with us, sharing, or they share the podcast, and then people are like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know this was, we need this. What else do you do?" So yeah, podcast, referrals, and Instagram.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about the podcast. What is it called?
It is called Intimacy Evolution.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what our business name is, our website and everything, because relationships evolve over time.
Yes.
Who Mark and I have been together for 18 years. Like, I know we met when we were 10. I'm just saying. No, we've gone through many iterations together. Who we are today is not who we were in college, right? And thank goodness.
Could you imagine? Keg stand.
Nobody needs to hear or see that.
Thank goodness we did not have like as much internet as we did do today. And I think that's so we talk about all of the things, navigating changes in life, careers, having kids, being caretakers to elderly parents, or how all of that impacts your relationship.
Yeah, I can imagine that elderly parent thing, that could be really challenging.
Yeah.
My oldest son is leaving the nest this fall. He's going off to college, and we're really excited. So do you have any advice for navigating that change in our relationship? And another caveat, we have been parents as long as we were together, because I had my son first, and then when my husband came along, there was already a kid there. So we kind of fell into that parenting role right away. I mean, there was a period of time where, obviously when we were first dating, but so it's going to be kind of weird to like let one of the little fledglings expand his wings. So any advice for?
Oh, I love this. So, but you still have, you have some other.
I still have the two little ones at home.
Yeah, the littles. But what we hear from those that are becoming empty nesters, it's like a new honeymoon phase all over again. And so continuing, like leaning into that excitement of like, oh my gosh, like, okay, we've got one out of the nest.
Did one, yeah.
Right?
Celebrate.
Yeah, there's going to be some sadness. It's going to be different. And just like knowing that those changes are going to happen and supporting each other. And then also being like, okay, we can also be excited about this. Like we don't have to only be sad. Like that doesn't mean that we love them any less.
Right.
And just really prioritize the relationship, time for yourself, time for each other. And that's going to be such a great like model for your younger ones as well, and your older ones, seeing that like, okay, like they're taking care of themselves, they're prioritizing the relationship. Like you said, like this is your person forever.
Right.
They're with us for this short period of time. And this is very like controversial. People don't like this, but you have to prioritize yourself before your kids. You have to prioritize your relationship before your kids. And that doesn't mean neglect them, don't feed them, right? It just means that like you have to make sure that you are filling your cup in each of those areas and taking care of your relationship with your partner. Because again, you're going to show up as the best version of you. Your kids are going to see happy parents and what a healthy, loving relationship is. And isn't that like the best gift you can give to them?
Interdependence versus that codependence.
Yeah.
And they get that example to learn how to take care of themselves too. It's not always, well, the world revolves around me,
Yeah.
That's really cool. So what's your Instagram? What's the best place for people to like connect with you and kind of like hear what you have going on?
Yeah, so it's just my name, Brianna Carey, on Instagram with the underscores, because apparently there's multiple.
Go figure.
Yeah,
That's okay.
I know.
We'll link it for sure. And then do y'all have a website?
Yes, it's intimacyevolution.com.
Okay. And is the information for the retreat on there so people will be able to like
They can check it out.
sign up?
And it'll be local. It's going to be in Bentonville. So.
Oh, even better. So the retreat is in Bentonville. You don't have to travel.
In that regard,
cool.
though, your coaching, do you do that via Zoom also so people can
Yes.
anywhere?
It's
So
from anywhere, so it is
listeners that are
virtual.
not local
So
can
even if you're not
also
local,
take
you can.
advantage of that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. World Wide Web.
Yeah, we're very popular in Ireland.
I love that. I can happily come to Ireland.
Yeah, let's go.
Tour with our podcast too.
Yes.
When is the retreat coming up? Do you have the dates?
Yes, July 17th through the 20th.
Okay, it's right around the corner.
It is coming up.
Will it fill up? Do you have a limited amount?
Yes, we only have 6 spots. Well, 5 left.
5 left.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, if there's 5, is that like leaving room for like a single person?
No, 5
Like
spots.
couples.
5
5
couples.
couple spots.
Yeah.
Okay, just
Yeah.
kidding. I was like, wait a minute.
Yes, it's 6 couples total.
Preemptively, I'm thinking about being coupled, so I'm going to attend.
What kind of party is this?
Yeah,
Not that kind of party.
No.
So that's really cool. And then you were doing some like men's like meetups, and are y'all still doing that?
Yes, so Mark still does. It is once a month, for the Northwest Arkansas area, the first Tuesday of every month. And that's at Rogue Studio.
Okay, that's right.
So, yeah. It's
Cool.
close.
Is it evening time?
Evening,
Evening?
yeah.
Okay.
6:30? 6?
First
No,
Tuesday?
no,
it's not.
It's on the website?
It's on the website.
It's on the
I was going
website.
to say, wait, I think he actually does it later. It's like 8 o'clock, so that way you can do family time
That's
and
nice.
then you go and do that.
That is nice.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
really
like,
cool.
He has calls and then he has the in-person group. I'm like, hold on, all the times are
It's
jumbled.
busy. Is he having
Yeah.
good turnout?
Yeah.
I just love that there's support for the men out there because they really need, and it's hard to facilitate getting them together to like do man things.
Yeah, and it's so important. Men need other men in their lives that are like supportive of what they're navigating in their life, supportive of their relationships too, and calling each other to be better versions of themselves, and just having support. You know, we talk about how important that is for women, and having that, it's every bit as much important for them too.
That's so amazing. So anything else you want to share? You have any good like tips? Any good? I know. I feel like this has been like packed full.
Yeah. Something that's really been coming up a lot on my like calls and stuff lately is like micro connections and finding pockets of time in the day to just connect with each other, because I think we can create this like whole like experience in our head of like, okay, like we haven't been with each other for a while, like things have been crazy, I miss them, but like I'm gonna have to get a babysitter, I'm gonna have to do all these things, and it's like the connection can happen in 5 minutes.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be that, like those moments are nice when you can have date night and brave kids for sure, but how can we create more connection in the time that we have? And so that's like, you know, if they leave for, you know, somebody leaves the house for work for the day, giving that 6-second kiss, because that releases the oxytocin and that bonding. And then when they come home, kissing before you even say a word to reestablish that connection and hugging and just be like, oh, I missed you, right?
Aww.
Super simple, but sometimes simple isn't always easy. We have to be intentional. You know, creating a ritual of like, hey, like before we go to bed tonight, like let's talk about our day, or like what's a highlight of your day? You know, keeping it simple, not like, oh, I just want to, like what was a highlight from your day today? Or start reading a book together, you know?
That's really sweet.
Yeah, just finding those little moments that...
I love that. We've been implementing the 6-second kiss, and it's so funny. It's I guess it must be new that we've heard about this, but it's... sometimes I'll do a quick peck, and he's like, that wasn't 6 seconds. And I'm like, oh, yes. And we count. We're counting. We're counting. Connecting. But it is. And then I have been trying to do... I've been trying to do like that connection where it's like this is when you first get home, greeting, instead of just being like looking up from my phone, like, you know,
or like unloading from the day and be like, yeah, you go take the kids, I'm done. Like reestablishing that connection is important. So just finding those little pockets when you can.
One of your podcast episodes that I listened to the other day, it was an argument between you and your husband.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so interesting to be able to like be a fly in the wall and like hear how y'all were able to communicate and like how you're able to like look at different things. It was really, really fascinating. That's a good skill to teach other people.
That is, I say that's our superpower.
Yeah.
Like, we're really good at conflict, at navigating through the conflict, right? So yeah, thank you. It's one of our like top episodes, and I was like, man, people, and we almost didn't do it, but people were like really.
It was interesting because it made you feel like, oh, they're not perfect, you know, like we're not perfect, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That is, conflict is inevitable. It's going to happen. And
right.
It's how can we do it? You know, come into it with compassion and curiosity, and be supportive to one another during that. You know. Yeah.
So, any tips for conflict? Is there like a formula that you have? Like, I go, you go? Is there
Well, yes. So, one, knowing that 69% of conflict is unresolvable.
Okay.
And that's like, people are like, what do you mean? So that one recurring argument you keep having, it's not necessarily about that thing, but it's about that you guys aren't speaking the same language to have the conversation with it. So my example is like Mark and I tend to have a tone, and that's innate because of my childhood, right? Mark tends to receive things more with a critical ear because of his childhood and so when it's being aware of these patterns. So when I say something and then I hear his response is like kind of like defensive, and I'm like, oh, okay, that didn't land well. Hey, actually, I'm so sorry it came across that way. I was just stuck in a thought, and I was being very blunt and asking. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then he comes at it and he's like, yeah, let me hear that again, blah, 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 right? So it's being aware.
Kind of take off that lens.
Of what your patterns are and listening to those cues. And then again, coming into it with curiosity, like, ooh, he's responding kind of defensively. What happens there? Get curious about it. Listening to hear and to receive rather than listening to defend.
Ooh.
And so that is one thing that I think we've been conditioned for, or especially like older siblings or, that weren't able to speak freely in their home, couldn't have opinions or talk back, right? Sometimes it can be challenging because you want to speak and like defend yourself and be heard. And so listening to receive and hold space for each other. So yeah, taking turns and like really listening, repeating back what you heard to make sure that you're on the same page. And then, a simple question is like, how can I show up differently? How can I do that differently in the future? And taking some responsibility, each of you, right? Taking responsibility, pointing or blaming you, blah, blah, blah. I feel very hurt when you call me out in front of the children. And then they can be like, okay, like, I hear that, wouldn't feel good. I'm sorry. That's how you feel. How can I do that differently in the future? And so you get to, and then it's an open dialogue from there because you're both exchanging in a compassionate way.
And that I language is really important. And you're like, this is the person that I can speak for.
Well, it's valuable too to really get inside yourself and understand what's going on, because so often I think people get on autopilot and they're like, you. Well, how do you feel about it? Actually, you know that you're upset or worked up or whatever it might be, but you don't even really know what's going on inside of yourself. And so that's a really good opportunity to
reflect,
bring it back.
How do I feel it in my body? And if you do struggle with like understanding what you're feeling, kind of feel it where are you feeling it? I
Where,
think that's
yeah.
a good way to like, ooh, I feel tense, you know.
where, when,
yeah,
how.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I have a sensation in my chest. Okay, it feels heavy. It feels like it's hard to breathe. You know, you can start naming it, and it's like, okay, when else have I felt that? And that's a whole other thing, right? When else
Right,
have I felt
right,
this way?
right.
Like, oh, well, actually, when you did this, it reminded me of a time when my dad did this, right? And so again, it's not always about that thing.
Yeah,
It's about the experience and stories we create around it.
absolutely.
Just be curious. I think that's like the
Curiosity.
best tip ever. That is so
And
good.
with kids too, this works really well with kids because we tend to like know better, have more experience, just pause and get curious in life.
Yeah, kids know a lot about themselves.
yeah.
And they will tell you. Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to share before we?
I feel
I feel like we did
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
There's a lot.
This was wonderful, and we can always get on again because I feel like there's just more. There's always more, you know.
there is.
And I'm excited. I go join the retreat. Go attend the men's meetups. Go attend. You know, find them on social media.
Go
You
poke
can
around
just
the website.
learn a lot just from listening. Honestly, that's the best. That is so cool that y'all are providing that resource free for people. I just can't praise you enough for the work you're doing. It's very, very good work.
I
So
appreciate that.
we're glad to be able to share what you're doing with our community.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.